Okay, we should have our Nooma chat starting here. I'm gonna send out the link to everybody. See who we can get in here. I'll move my camera so you're not just staring at my double chin the whole time here. Coming to you live from my basement right now. You can see we got all sorts of unfinished stuff in here. If you want to join, I'm going to put the link to join the Hangout in the Nooma chat as soon as I can find where those links are. On settings. Oh, here we go. I'm giving the wrong URLs here. Let's see. Is this right? Get my headphones for when people get in here so we don't get all echoey.
Oh, there we go. Hi there.
Hey. Get my headphones from. Oh, we have two Alexes. I know Alex from Nooma. Who's the other Alex?
This is Alex, not from Nooma. Oh, there we go. Hi there.
Well, there's two Alexes from Nooma.
Not from Nooma.
Oh, gotcha. Not from Nooma. We have two Alexes. I know Alex from Nooma.
Oh, we got some crazy echo going on.
Yeah, sounds like maybe a little bit of lag.
Uh-oh.
Hey,
Well,
Alex,
Alex,
you have
I have the
headphones?
classroom link open. That's my mistake.
Oh, got it. Yeah, you
Well,
can just pause that. Yeah.
Alex, not from Nooma. Where are you coming from?
I am from Loyola Marymount University in Los Angeles. I
Nice.
studied there as a mechanical engineer.
What kind of engineer?
Mechanical.
Mechanical. Cool.
Right.
Oh, what have you been building recently?
Recently, we've been getting into. I'm actually working on a new type of tennis string right now. That's something I've always been interested in.
That's cool. Huh.
Wait, what did you say, Alex?
Right now at school, I'm working with a professor to try and develop this new type of tennis string.
Tennis. Oh, interesting. Like the string that goes inside of a tennis racket?
Right. So right now the game is moving forward into like a very spin heavy thing. So I just really want to get on that. It's going to be a big field, I think, in the future.
Wow.
So you're
wait.
trying to make like grippy string then or something like that?
Well, that's the interesting part. What actually imparts spin on the ball is the string snapping back into place. So low friction polyesters are actually the way to go.
Would have never guessed that in a million years.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
Oh.
I really liked your video, by the way. That was a crazy intro.
Oh, thanks. Which one for the iPhone class or?
Yes, I think it was iOS. I forget the name of the class. It was something very, very clever.
Huh. Well, glad you enjoyed it. How's the class been going for you or learning stuff?
So I haven't been able to get into it recently. My computer's been broken. I'm actually using another one right now.
Oof.
Back from it.
Oh, nice.
Right.
Well, that's cool. Well, how'd you find out about Nooma?
My brother actually got in touch with Alex, and then Alex got in touch with me, and then here we are right now.
Boom, boom. Great find. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to this class. I was actually introduced to programming through MATLAB, and I think it's a very powerful thing to have, regardless of major.
Regardless of what?
Regardless of field, I guess, concentration. I feel
Oh,
like it's going to
gotcha.
be a big part of business moving forward.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. I don't know if because yeah, I mean, you got to figure eventually the robots and the computers are going to end up doing a lot, and so my best guess is just maybe it's like the last spot for humans is to kind of just be plugging and gluing everything together, and I assume that happened through code, but yeah, I don't know. Kind of cool. So, well, what I mean, do you have any like goals for like? So, are you like really interested in making an iPhone app, or I guess maybe with kind of your math lab background, like, are you into more kind of like computer program stuff, or what are you interested in?
I actually am really interested in computer program stuff. Like I said, I just think that it's good to have a holistic understanding of your field, and programming is definitely something that I'm going to be closely working with. So I feel like I just have to have this in my repertoire moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cool. Well, if you want any like suggestion about maybe where to dive in, I mean, kind of from the courses that we have on Nooma there, like I think to just straight up like have you do you know like the basics of programming, or are you starting from like square one?
I know the basics of programming.
Yeah. Okay. You might be interested in the Python course. It kind of has like the assumption that you've done some programming before, so it doesn't go through like every single thing like, oh, this is a Boolean, this is an if statement. Rather, it's like, this is how you do that in Python, and you kind of get to build some cool little programs. My favorite project in that one, this is like the most worthless project, but it makes me so happy all the time, is that like, so I made this thing that every morning at 8 a.m. it grabs all my Twitter followers and picks one at random and then tweets at them like, you're the random follower of the day, and then sends them like their lucky number for the day too, which is also like a random thing. And like, I don't know, it's just like a fun thing, and it was like cool because I wrote the code for it, and then I set it up on like one of those little like cloud servers, and it's just like I haven't touched it since I meant it, but it's like all these like old friends and stuff, and like people you like forgot existed, like now you're like randomly connecting with them because they get this little thing, and like I don't know.
That's very cool.
So
What's your programming? What made it your passion?
So for me, it was I was on a 2-year church mission from like 2008 to 2010. And when I came home as a welcome gift, my dad was like super nice. He got me a brand new iPhone 4. It had like just come out. And it was like those 2 years that I was away, like was kind of when apps were becoming a thing. And so like when I got that phone and just like saw how many apps there were, like blew my mind. Like I vividly remember the first time I took my phone into the bathroom with me. It was like 45 minutes later and both my legs fell asleep, like just because I was like so enthralled with like the app store and like downloading crap. And like I remember playing like Scrabble with my aunt, and we like were disputing about a word, and she's like, I'm gonna open up my Scrabble dictionary app. I'm like, even freaking Scrabble has like an app? Like it was just kind of, yeah, it was just mind-blowing for me. So I wanted to get into it, and the app that I was dying to make was a mini golf scorecard. I just thought, I'm going to change the world if people can keep their score at a mini golf place with one hand instead of having the pencil and the paper. So I tried like a bunch of random stuff, like definitely a lot of like YouTube videos. Like Stanford had like a free course and stuff, but like I like didn't have a programming background, and so it just none of it like really connected with me. But so it took like 2 years, and really I think the thing that turned it for me was like actually meeting people who were like programming and stuff like that, just getting kind of like one-on-one help. But eventually learned how to make apps, and it was like ever since I like kind of had that ability even to make like really dumb apps, like I just like fell in love, and I was like doing it for fun. I was doing it for work. Like I basically dropped out of school for a bit just so that I could do that. I eventually went back and finished, but Yeah, it was really just the iPhone that kind of, I guess, hooked me in and got me excited.
That's great. Wow.
So yeah, who would have thought? And it was funny. I like this. I think it was about a year and a half ago. I finally finished the mini golf scorecard, like because I had given it up over those like first 2 years. Like it just never panned out. I couldn't get it to work. But then one day I was like, you know what? I'm going back and I'm making this freaking thing. Like I don't have the same drive for it, but like I
Have you ever
just
seen
owe
the
it.
show? Sorry.
I was just saying I owe it to myself to finally make it. So.
Have you ever seen the show Silicon Valley?
I'll say a few episodes.
What do you think about it?
It's pretty funny. I'm amazed by how like specific they get about things. Like they've definitely like done the research for the show. Because I mean, so I have a brother that lives there, and so I like visit every once in a while. It's not like I know Silicon Valley that well, but some of the stuff that they poke fun at and stuff, it's like, wow, that is pretty genius.
The director of Hooli is absolutely spot on. Probably my favorite.
Have you watched all the seasons?
Keep on doing. Hilarious.
Have you watched all the seasons?
I actually have every single episode.
Wow.
Yeah. It's because a couple of my friends live in Silicon Valley, and literally it's just a bunch of inside jokes. Like literally every inside joke you could ever think of was covered in that.
Wow, that's excellent. Huh. Well, now hopefully with the class you could make some kind of funny app and just throw the joke even further. Hey, what's up, Mark?
Hello.
What's your name?
I'm Ryan.
Ryan, awesome. Nice to meet you, man. Where are you from?
I'm from like Korea. Actually, I came from from North Korea.
Wow. We've got an international crew.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So are you living in South Korea right now?
Oh yeah, I'm living South Korea now.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Well, so like small world, how the heck did you find out about Nooma?
Actually, like my friend Andrew Lee found the like Nooma TV, so he introduced me. So I got to like Nooma TV.
Oh, huh. That's cool. Have you have you done any of the class stuff?
I just started because I was a little busy with my school, so I just started. I just got the like Xcode stuff.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm gonna keep studying.
Oh, cool. That's awesome, man. Man, I can't believe like the internet's freaking amazing. Like we're just all in random parts of the world right now.
Where are you from, Nick?
So I grew up in Oregon, and then probably for about the last 10 years, I've been living in Utah, out in the middle of nowhere. So,
Cool. So besides the mini golf app, which is probably the craziest app you've ever made then?
I'd say craziest. This was like, I don't even know why I did this. I made a money converter app that you could see like if you're changing from like US dollars to euros or like yen. But I made it so that like when you converted it, it would actually like show in the local currency what it looked like. So if you did like $100 to like yen, like it would show the yen bills and then like the coins all the ways down to like the exact like yen amount that it was translated to. So that was fun. And then I even like put a print button on it so you could like print the money if you wanted to. So that was kind of fun. But the one that I'm shocked by is so I'm like a big night owl. I'm just like up at the most random times, and I like always think of things that I want to text people in the middle of the night, but like you can't do it or else you're like the crazy person. So I made this app where you could like schedule your text, who you're going to send it to, and all that stuff, and then it would like send it for you at like a specific time. And I called it later, put it up in the App Store, and like that one app for like the past year and a half has made like $600 a month. Like I've had to change the code like once or twice, but it's been this like beautiful little like cash cow off to the side that like every month I'm just like, woo, like free dough. So
Wow.
I mean, that sounds like a powerful thing to choose when you want to send a text message. That's actually really cool.
yeah, I can't believe that like Apple hasn't put it, just like baked it into their operating system, because it seems like just like a basic functionality. Like I think on Android like it's built in, but it's not on Apple yet, so I guess I'm still alive, but yeah.
My friend was telling me about this app idea where it was just like Messenger, but you could change whatever you say whenever you wanted. And I was like, I definitely need that.
Wait, what does it do?
So it's just like Messenger, except you can edit your message and then they see it as edited too, and it doesn't tell them that you edited it.
Oh, so you could go back and send something, and then like the next day you could change what you said.
Right.
Edit history.
Dang.
So it's for people who are doing some suspicious things, maybe.
Hmm. I don't know what that could be, but
Oh, that's fun. Just like random little things like that. That's cool.
yeah. Yeah, Nick, actually, I'm kind of the same way. When I saw the Later app, I was like, man, that's actually something I would love to have like on across all of my iOS messaging. Because I text a lot also from the computer, like from iMessage on the Mac.
Oh, huh.
And I'm the same way. I'm up until like 3, 4. Sometimes yesterday I was up until 6 in the morning, or I guess today.
might as well not even go to bed at that point.
Yeah, I slept from 6 a.m. to like noon today.
Wow.
But just kind of happened that way. But yeah, I'm the same way. I'm always up really late, and then I'll like want to text somebody, and I don't want to text them at like 3 or 4 in the morning. So then I have to like make a note to myself to like text this person this thing later, and sometimes it never happens.
Huh.
But that's crazy that you make $600 a month off of that. That's not a small amount of money. That's awesome. That's legit.
Yeah.
How does that happen? Like, do people just find out about it like without any marketing or promotion from you?
Yeah, it has like really good like SEO in the App Store. Like I think this was like 2 years ago. Like somebody had told me like the way to get your app to show up really high in search results is just like pack your title with as much words as possible. Like I think they've changed it now that it's a max like 100 characters, but back then it was like 255 characters. So it's like the name of the app is like later dash schedule messages automatically and produce office productivity, like blah, 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 just anything that could ever be potentially related to someone scheduling a text like is in that title.
Like an essay, yeah.
Yeah. So that was really big. And there's like, I think 6 or 7 apps that like do exactly what my app does. But a lot of them were built before, I think it was iOS 7 when Apple did like the big like UI overhaul of stuff. And so just from like when you scroll down and screenshot, like look at the screenshots and stuff, like it looks just like newer than the other ones. So I think that's why it gets so many like downloads and stuff. But
that's crazy.
It's nuts.
I'm looking at it right now. I'll put it, guys. I'll put it in the classroom chat right now. There it is. Just found it on iTunes. Yeah, it looks sick.
Yeah, my favorite part about it is that like this is like my biggest success, and it has like 1.5 stars on the App Store. Like, so like take a moment to like appreciate like the lowest rating you can give is a 1. And it's like, I had my wife give it like 5 stars. So like, it's as close to like 1 star.
Everyone download this app right now and give Nick 5 stars.
5 stars.
Yeah. So,
why does it have 1.5 stars? It sounds like something that's useful.
So the biggest reason I think that it has a low rating is so it's free to download and you can schedule text to send out whenever you want. But when it's for the free stuff, it'll pop you up a reminder. You swipe on the reminder, and then it has the message ready to go. All you have to do is hit the send button. But to have it like actually go out, like no matter what at a certain time, you have to pay like $5 a month for that. So most of the reviews that are like 1 star, it's like, this guy's insane. Like, how could you charge this much money for something like this? And it's just, I think a lot of people that like just thought that it was something that would have been like included with the app. I mean, the other thing too, which is like really unfortunate, and at least I found there's no way around it, is that like if you do the automatic sending, it sends out from like a phone number that I have through the service called Twilio, because there's no way for me to actually send a message from somebody else's phone number for them, like without them actually physically hitting the send button. So the message that you schedule, like they come from like a different number. So I like try and put like a little signature at the bottom that has like your real phone number and stuff. But so yeah, I think the fact that it like you have to pay to get the automatic stuff and that it like doesn't come from your phone number is what drives a lot of the 1 stars.
Well, that's still cool.
Yeah, and it's funny. Like I mainly built it for myself, and it's like one of the apps that I put on my bottom home row, like the 4 apps that are always there, and I still use it like all the time. So like I'm in love with it. I know a lot of other people like don't like it, but there's a couple of us that are later faithful. So
I just downloaded it right now, and I have it
Woo-hoo!
open. Got another new download.
So Ryan, I have to ask: is there any kind of app that you're hoping to make someday?
I'm not sure. Just I make sure someday I wanna make some app, but I don't know what kind of app I'm gonna make it.
Huh. Still deciding, huh?
Yeah.
Well, what are you studying in school?
I'm studying mechanical engineering.
Oh, nice. We got a couple of those in here now. Oh, that's cool. What have you been working on any projects in mechanical engineering?
No, not yet.
Nothing yet.
Yeah.
Ryan, why did you choose mechanical engineering?
Because if you're studying mechanical engineering, I think it's more better to get a job like other like subjects, I think. So that's why I chose mechanical engineering.
Also, how do you speak English so well?
Actually, I studied like 1 semester in United States.
Oh, nice. Where were you?
San Francisco.
Oh, nice. What's more expensive, South Korea or San Francisco?
San Francisco is more expensive.
So Nick, what's the process of sort of getting an app to market? I get, like, where does it all start? So you have an app idea, you have the programming behind it, and then what do you do?
So at least for me, like it's kind of, so my number 1 pro tip for everything, this is going to seem like the dumbest thing in the world, but like draw your app out on pen and paper before you do anything. Like I've had so many ideas for apps that it's just like, it keeps me up at night because I think it's so cool. And then I like sit down to like start programming it. And then like 6 hours later, like I don't even know what the heck I'm like trying to build anymore. And it just gets lost and eventually dies. So like literally just on paper showing like, here's the first screen. If you tap on this button, it'll go here. Like having a blueprint is like, so it just makes things move so much better. So yeah, once you have the idea, draw it out. It's just kind of like starting to build it from there. And I usually take the philosophy of just like build the simplest version you can and then like ramp from there. So like when I was doing this like later app, like the first one that I made like didn't have any sort of like server part with it to do like automatic sending. It was just like reminder stuff, and you like once you scheduled one, like you couldn't like edit it or change it or anything. So it was just like make like the very simple version first and then like slowly update it. But once you have like your app kind of ready, to put it on the Apple App Store, you have to join their developer program, which is $99 a month. And then you just have to like upload or you like send your app to them, and you have to like provide like a screenshot, your description and all that stuff. And then, so this is something that's like, I like and hate about Apple at the same time, is that they have to approve any app that goes on the App Store, and any update for an app has to be approved by Apple. And so it's like even when you finish your app, you submit it to them. Sometimes you wait like as long as a week. Sometimes it's as quick as like 2 days, but like they have to look at it first. And I remember the very first app that I ever did, it was like an app on how to like lift weights. It was basically aggregating like a bunch of YouTube videos. Like Apple rejected my app, and they like reasoning for rejecting it was this like really long, complicated sentence, but it was essentially, your app is too ugly. Like at the end of the day, like that's what it said. It was like, we appreciate apps who like put thoughtful insights into their design and stuff like this. And I was just like, you know what? Screw you guys. I've been working on this for like 4 months, all right? And so I like went and I talked with my friend who's a designer. I paid him like $100 or something. He helped me like class it up. So then I submitted again to the App Store. Looks like so much better. I got rejected again, and again it was like some big sentence, but it was like, your app really doesn't do that much. Like a website could basically do what your app does, so there's really no reason for it to be an app. And it's like, goodness gracious, just like let me through. And so I like went and added like a journaling feature onto this thing. And so third time around, eventually it got on the store. But once you're in the App Store, like it's pretty fluid from there. Like you can do updates. They're not too bad. And Apple, they give you like a ton of like really good analytical things to see like how many people are downloading your app, like where they came from. And so yeah, in a nutshell, that's kind of the flow. Did that answer your question, or?
Yeah, I definitely did.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, I feel like it always, especially the first time, takes longer than you think it will, just because especially like learning how to submit to Apple is like a process in and of itself. And then sometimes like they say no, but yeah, that's basically it.
And I feel like you brought up an interesting point earlier where you said, I made this app. There's also 6 other apps that do the same thing. I feel like that happens pretty often. Someone has a similar idea or same idea. So
Yeah.
what sort of happens with that? And I guess which one turns out to sort of come out ahead of the pack, and why?
So I don't know like necessarily why some succeed over others. I mean, there's definitely this whole game of like how to get your app up in the like search results. Like, and I think really like that's the biggest thing, like impact you can have on your app downloads is getting it to show up in search results. Like you can do like paid advertising and other stuff like that, but like time for actual like impact, like nothing's going to be better than trying to get your like app in the rankings. So, I mean, that's like a really big thing. And I think it's just kind of like paying attention to details. Like my later app like isn't like a great example of it because I like haven't touched in a long time. And that's kind of the situation I find with a lot of apps is like there's a ton of developers who had some idea for something that was really cool. They put it up on the App Store and it's like, I don't know, life happens, right? Like, and they just like get busy. So like my thought is like all those text apps before me, like back when they were up, they were probably like the king. They were getting tons of downloads and stuff, but it was like, it became like the little side thing that was just there. And so I feel like my app is right now like in the middle of that. Like there's probably like new apps coming to kind of replace it because I've kind of like pushed it to the side as I like work on like teaching and stuff. So I think just, yeah, like, you know, if you kind of put the details in about making like really good screenshots, always updating to take advantage of new versions of like iOS stuff. Like, I remember with like iOS 9, like you could add searchability into your app. Like that was like a huge thing that you could add. Like now, if you add like a watch, Apple Watch extension to things, like that could be really huge. So it's just like little things like that. But the other thing, like kind of overarching before that, is like I wouldn't let the fact that like an app already exists stop you from making that app. Like for me, like there was, when I was making the later app, there was already apps that like basically did what I wanted. But it was like really fun for me to make like the exact app that I wanted in like the way that I thought it should be done. So I definitely wouldn't let that like let you hold you back, because yeah, I mean, probably if you have an idea, like somebody's already done it before. But I mean, you can kind of do it in your own way, your own style. And it's like, even if you built something the exact same as somebody else, like just the process of making it is like, I don't know, to me it was really rewarding. So I don't know, there's my thoughts on that.
Oh, cool.
Do you have anything you're leading towards?
Well, I've actually been thinking of a couple app ideas. Obviously I have to take the course still, but I was talking with Alex about this. I feel that nowadays fitness is all about the individual. This is my progress. This is how I keep up. But I think part of the fun about working out with your friends is that you're all sort of improving together as a community. And when someone sort of feels down, or maybe they can't go, their friends encourage them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking if, and especially now that there's an app out, Pokemon Go, where you sort of walk around to these hotspots with all of your friends, and it's something to talk about on the way over there. And I think that's something really valuable. Before, when you would walk to these spots, everybody would just be silent on their phones doing nothing. Now you use your phone to talk with your friends about something. Say, oh, this is over here, or I didn't know about this spot on school. That's pretty cool. So I wanted to do sort of the same thing for people who jog or run. Just go to different hotspots, say, oh, that's cool, this is there. And it sort of tracks your community's progress. So that was something I was thinking about.
That's cool. So it's like you could, if you have like a group of 4 or 5 friends, like all of you get in this app, and it's like do you like sort of see when other people are like running, or what? How do you kind of like interact with each other on the app?
So I was thinking something sort of like progress bars saying, oh, this many miles per day, or maybe a couple other settings like average miles per day or something like that.
Oh, nice.
Use how you keep up.
Oh, that's cool.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, man. I'm trying to think from like a technical perspective. So I think the like Apple, the actual app part of that stuff, like it wouldn't be too bad. I think probably the most technical that you'd get into is the GPS stuff, like being able to translate, you know, somebody went along all these GPS points. How do I like, you know, turn that into like mileage? But it wouldn't be too bad. I mean, Apple, the nice thing is they've done a lot of like, they have a ton of code that you can utilize to like usually make what would be really complex stuff like really simple. And then I think the next step would just be you have to have some sort of like server or something, right, that like can spread the information between everybody, right? Like if you do a run, you go like 2 miles or something, like you need to have that uploaded to like a server somewhere, and so that when your friends log into their app, it shows like, oh, look, Alex ran like 2 miles or whatever. So the good news is there's companies like I'm totally blanking, Google's thing, Firebase, that make it like really easy to put like a back end or a server onto your like mobile apps. And you could probably implement that fairly easily. And I mean, if you want to go full bore crazy. You could like custom code like your own server and stuff, but that's like a whole world in itself. That's what I ended up doing with Later is like I built like my own server thing because I wanted to like check it out, and like anytime the Later app breaks, it's because of the server, and I never know how to fix it. Like it goes down for like days at a time because I'm just on my computer like hitting up Stack Overflow like, what the freak is wrong with this? Like I love app stuff. I do it all the time. I feel really comfortable with it, but the server stuff, it's like whole other world, you know? So
It's cool.
yeah. But yeah, that would be really good. And like if you want advice for like how I would maybe attack that is like I would maybe make an app first that just personally tracks like your run. Like cuz I think if you try to go for the full shebang to like integrate all this like back end stuff and make everything connect at once, like it's going to get lost in itself. But if you just started with like I want to make an app that tracks my own runs and then just like bit by bit build from there, probably could make it happen.
Wow. Okay, cool.
So
And then besides that, I'm just noting that nowadays when you download an app and it has something suggested, I feel like that's something that's actually permeating everything else with social media, YouTube. You sort of get suggested to the same things all the time. So I was sort of thinking of something sort of like Stumble Upon, where you choose a couple categories and it gives you something fresh. Because I know there's lots of people who sort of scroll through their Facebook or YouTube and they just are sort of sick of it because they say the same things all the time. They sort of get saturated with content they like, you know?
yeah.
So
Huh. That would be cool. I think I fall into that category of I hit my Twitter, then I hit the popular page on YouTube, and then I'll hit like Hacker News, and it's like once I've done that, it's kind of like, and yeah, that would be interesting to kind of just have something that normally you wouldn't have ever like checked out, but it's like, oh, this could be interesting.
right. It's just sort of vague right now, but it's an idea that I definitely want to keep thinking about moving forward.
Oh, cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, Alex, are you thinking of like, do you want to be like a programmer one day, or is it more of like you were saying, like having programmed to help like facilitate another job or like a side thing, or I guess, yeah, what are kind of your thoughts about like programming and where you want to go with it?
For me, programming is very interesting because it's a sort of translation of actual thinking. It's a language in and of itself. So when I think of these ideas, I could see myself doing it. But when I hear other programmers talk about it, it sort of scares me off. It sort of seems like for a lot of them, it just sort of breaks them eventually. I am definitely interested in programming. I could see myself as a programmer, but I'd say it was mostly my peers who sort of pushed me out of it and said just to have it in the back pocket.
Yeah. Well, the good news is
I see myself doing that.
Yeah. Well, it's always, if you try it out kind of here on the side and you love it, it's like ramp up, do it. If not, it's like, all right. Even if you don't do it full time, like you said, it's definitely going to come in handy. So
Nothing ventured, nothing gained, right?
True.
Hey Alex, what's MATLAB like as a? I don't know too much about it.
So MATLAB in itself, it's very simple. It stands for Matrix Laboratory.
Yeah.
And we use it a lot for differential equations. Most of the time, our calculators, they're built for very specific jobs, mostly with logarithmic functions like sine, cosine, or stuff like that. But if you need a really powerful calculator, you usually go on to MATLAB. But it also serves as a very simple programming language in and of itself. You can do some simple math stuff. But yeah, that's what it's about. It's used mostly by electrical engineers. I think they use Raspberry Pi with it or something like that.
Ah.
Nice. I just got a Raspberry Pi, and yeah, that at least the one that I got, it's like part of the like operating system that comes with it. It's just right there, MATLAB, just ready to rock and roll.
What are you planning on doing with the Raspberry Pi?
So it's been like my nighttime project the last couple of nights. So I have like a to-do list that I follow every morning. It's like 10 different things, but it like changes day to day. Like I have like my weekday ones and then like my weekend ones. And then it's like on Tuesday, like I need to take out the trash bins or whatever. And so I have a little, I wrote a little Python script that runs every day that makes a new to-do list for like the next day. And then the part that I'm stuck at now is I'm trying to get it to automatically print out of my computer. So like I could literally just walk up to the printer when I wake up and it's like already been printed in my sleep.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just kicking my trash. Like, I don't know, like all these little pieces of stuff, like, because the Raspberry Pi, it uses Linux for its operating system. And it's like, I can like get around, but it's like not familiar at all. And I feel like usually the people that like use Linux, like they're very technical people. And so many times I've like looked to like a Stack Overflow question and it's like someone's asking like, hey, how do I do this? And someone's like, why don't you just Google it, man? And it's like, no, they couldn't figure it out. That's like why they came here. Like some of these peeps are just like too smart. They can't realize that like all us dumb folks out here can't figure it out. But so yeah, I got this whole Raspberry Pi to basically print something off in the morning. That's my current thing right now.
That's cool. That's cool.
So is it actually, it's hooked up to your actual printer?
Yeah, I can get it to print right now. Like make the list and then print it out, but I have to like manually go hit the keyboard to say like go print. Like, so I have no idea if you guys want to know the real specifics, but the issue that I'm having is like my to-do list, I turn it into an HTML file because then I can like put a little bit of styling, like I can center the text and I make like today's to-do list in bold, stuff like that.
That's
but
Python.
then yeah, but the problem is you can't, at least in Linux, you can't print a straight HTML file. So I'm trying to convert the HTML into a PDF and then print the PDF. And I can do it if I'm like using the computer, but the problem is if it's just an automated task, I think there's a breakdown of like, it has to use like the computer screen to like get the HTML to show up and then turn that into a PDF. And so apparently there's some way to like make a simulated screen that like runs on its own, but yeah, this was 2 nights ago. I spent like 2 hours Googling crap and made no progress. It was so dumb.
What drew you to Raspberry Pi? Getting one. What drew you to it?
I just always like heard about them, and to be honest, like I'm gonna grab it right now just because it's here. But I was going around to like a garage sale that was nearby, and this lady was selling this computer monitor for like $1. And I was like, you can't say no to a monitor for $1. So I bought this monitor, and I didn't have any use for it. And I'd always kind of heard about the Raspberry Pi, so I was like, let's do that. It was like $35 or something. So I just thought, why not?
So you got the monitor, and then that made you want to get the Raspberry Pi?
This $1 monitor purchase turned into like this bigger Raspberry Pi thing, and now it's turned into something else. So random.
I hope the story gets like just even more elaborate.
Raspberry Pi ends up like changing my life.
Yeah, it all started with you.
I'm gonna go back to that lady that I bought it from. It's like, you made the difference.
You just have this huge app idea because of your Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, exactly. Sweet. Maybe that's the next course.
Buy a $1 monitor to change your life. Figure out everything here.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
So I'm looking at some of your courses right now. Is there anything you recommend besides the Python one? I know Alex recommended the iOS developer course.
Yeah, so I think it's kind of like where you want to go with stuff. Like, personally, for like my friends who just want to like check out programming, I usually recommend the How to Make a Freaking iPhone app, just because it, like, you get to like very clearly see what it is that you're creating. Like, you make apps where like one of them's like a soundboard, right? So you can like record your voice and play it back, kind of like a little yak back or something. And then like there's a different one where you can like catalog a collection that you have. If you have like a video game or movie collection, like you can take pictures of this stuff and organize it. So it's just like, they're like real apps that you can put on your phone and use and stuff. Whereas the Python one, and then also the one that's just straight up Swift, not like the iPhone one, but just straight Swift, like those ones, you learn, I think, kind of more like core programming stuff, but it's like, I think you have to have the right mind for it. Like, because, you know, you basically are making code that's going to spit out text at some point through the computer. Whereas the app stuff, it's like just much more like real, like you make stuff that you can physically touch and like see things happen to. So I don't know, I think it's just like up to you. Like if you know, kind of like a little bit more of like the data stuff with like Python and just having stuff run on a computer, like automated tasks and stuff like that, I'd probably go down the Python route. And then but if you're just kind of want to like check out programming and see what it's like to like make stuff and maybe like put an app in the App Store one day, like I'd go for the iPhone one. But I mean, they kind of, anything you learn in one is going to help you in the other. That's the nice thing about programming, is like a lot of concepts are basically the same. There's a few like syntax changes between languages, but you know, I mean, and that's the nice thing that like I'm kind of happy about Nooma here. Like, since you have all these courses, like there's no shame in like going into the Python course for like a couple of weeks and you're like, I'm not really liking this. And then all of a sudden you pick up like the iPhone class or like vice versa, you know? So that's what else.
All right, cool. So going into more of what you said about Python, you said you would recommend it more if I was looking for automatic processes to run on my computer. What exactly do you mean by that? You mean like
So I like, probably the most clear example is like that little Twitter bot that I made, right, that tweets at one of my followers every day. I mean, there's definitely much more like practical applications. Like, and one for me is that, so Python's running this like to-do list thing, and it does like I have it so it like it goes and hits a weather API to get the next day's forecast. So when it prints out tomorrow's stuff, like it has what the forecast is and the highs and lows, stuff like that. So it's just kind of like, if there's just, I guess, little things that you think it'd be cool to automate, like work with different like APIs and stuff like that, bring it together, like Python's like really good for that.
Got it. All right, cool.
So Nick, question for you. I know you we haven't really announced it yet, but there's a kind of an Apple Watch course in the works, on the way. So I was just curious, because I was looking at my Apple Watch here, and like, what's it going to be like? What should we expect from it, and what are you most excited about for it? And yeah.
Well, so I decided, because I did one other Apple Watch course about 2 years ago, right when the Apple Watch came out. And that one was kind of taught from the perspective of someone that had zero programming experience. Whereas this one is like assuming that you've made like at least an iPhone app or two. And so the actual content of the class, like I'm liking it a lot more just because it like dives straight into the Apple Watch doctrine, I guess. Sure. But yeah, the fun thing about this one was in the class, we make 3 different apps, and all of the apps are things that like I actually wanted to have in my life. So the very first one is like this time tracker app that like, because I like to track how many hours I work during the day. Like I have a goal every day of like I want to work like 6 hours or 8 hours or whatever. And so You can just do it all on your wrist. You can like clock in, clock out. Another one, I'm like a fan of Bitcoin, so it like it's an app that shows up on the actual like watch face of the watch. So anytime you rotate your wrist, like it'll show you the current price of Bitcoin, and it like changes throughout the day. So that's kind of cool. But and then the last one is I think the best way to describe it is like a distraction journal. It's like something that's like supposed to help you like keep focused during the day. Like will hit you up periodically with a notification. And it's like, yo, bro, you actually still working? And like you can kind of, it's supposed to like help you take an outsider perspective from yourself and like realize when it is that you can get distracted during the day. So yeah, those are like the 3 apps that we make, but yeah, it's cool because all of them were things that like I personally wanted. And yeah, that definitely, I'm like, so from when I made that first class when the Apple Watch first came out to like now with like watchOS 3, like things have gotten so much better. Like the craziest thing to me, and I still like can't believe this, is like in the very first version of the Apple Watch, any third-party app, all the code for that app ran on your iPhone and then got sent to your Apple Watch. And if you pushed a button on your Apple Watch, it would send to your iPhone that you push that button, and then all the code would happen on the iPhone to say what to do next. Like, yeah, it was just crazy. And so, I mean, that meant, you know, you can't use any app unless you're like within proximity of your phone and stuff. And now you can do like independent and connect. Your apps can like connect to the internet if they're on like a known Wi-Fi thing, even if your phone's not there, which it's kind of like frustrating because the hardware hasn't changed. So it's like, you knew that capability was there the whole time, but like Apple just didn't have it already. So yeah, I don't know. That's kind of the gist of it. Any other questions?
I mean, sort of off topic. What do you think about the Apple Watch? Do you like it?
I'd say right now it's a very expensive toy. I mean, I don't know how you feel, Alex, but it's like, so I like it because I'm a developer and I've made like my own apps for it. Like I made a little extension for that mini golf app that I made, and now I can like keep track of my golf game on my wrist, which I don't know, to me, like that's really cool and fun. But it's like outside of the little things that I make, I use my watch to set timers and check what time it is. It's like you could do that with like a $5 watch from the drugstore. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I feel the same way. That's actually the killer app for me on my Apple Watch has been exactly those two. Also checking what time it is, and but mainly the timer. Like I guess it depends. It's a tool, you know. So it's like, you can use it creatively. You can use it, if you use it smart, it can, even a simple feature can be pretty powerful, like in your life. But I have my watch face that I chose has like the timer, stopwatch timer and countdown timer on it, like front and center. So I tend to like, one thing I might use it for is like giving myself a time limit to complete a task. So yeah, it gets me really focused, and like I feel like I'm kind of racing against like, oh, I have to get it done before this thing goes off on my wrist. And I think just like the physical, there's something physical being on my wrist that I know is like counting me down, just really focuses me. So I end up being more productive that way, because something that can happen is like you're working and then, you know, you get an alert on your phone, like someone just Facebook messaged you, or, you know, you just like something, you, as part of your work, you were on Facebook or on Reddit, like, and then you saw something really interesting, like a 1-hour documentary about like Kanye West or something. And then I'll just get sucked into that. And the only way sometimes I can prevent myself from being distracted is I have to have like something that's like timing me. So I find that to be pretty useful, and definitely it could be done with a like kitchen timer egg. 2. So this is totally not that necessary. Yeah. So those are my thoughts on it. But I'm hopeful. I think maybe like the next, in like a year or two, once Apple's new smart AI maybe like gets rolled out on this baby, it'll just be like you can talk to it and it'll do all these crazy cool things. That's my hope, but we'll see.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a lot of potential in it. I think right now it's just that people are sort of treating it as like a second iPhone on your wrist. And I feel like that's really limiting the scope of it. They say, well, okay, my phone has a clock on it, so why do I need this watch? I think the most important thing moving forward is for people to focus on something maybe only the watch can do. I can't think of anything specific right now. Maybe something that has to do with motion. I'm not sure if it has that functionality, actually.
Yeah. I know Apple's really going in a health and fitness direction with it, in the near term at least. So that's probably, I feel like, what we'll see more of in the near future. But
I remember one of my audio engineer friends was talking to me about this, but he said that someone was working on something where music would play directly as a vibration in your hand and you can actually hear it. And that was something that was sort of crazy to know. No earphones, no anything. It just sort of vibrates it and you literally like feel the music. You can hear it.
from the watch?
Yeah, so he did something like he had an audio file and converted it into a series of signals and vibrations such that it can be interpreted in that way. I think it actually was based off of a hearing aid that he was working on. So that's where I think he got the idea. So yeah, I think it's stuff like that that'll really make Apple Watch something unique in the future. Not something that you would just find on your iPhone that you put on your watch. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Well, I think I'm probably going to bounce. Speaking of that Apple Watch course, I'm trying to put the finishing touches on that bad boy. So I probably need to go back to the green screen over here and get to some filming. But the other Alex, it was nice to meet you. And yeah, let me know if I can ever help with anything. And Ryan, all the way from Korea, it was awesome to meet you, dude. Love your English, man.
Thank you.
And yeah, again, if you have any questions, please hit me up. Love to help. So.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to actually dive right into this Python course right now. That's definitely something I'm interested in.
Ooh. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, thank you very much. I think I'll be signing off too and getting into that.
Cool.
All right. Well, see you, everybody. Thanks so much.
All right. See you guys. Bye.